Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vachaline Nivasisha Shunyavadi Ashtatara Siddharine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure where we are. I've got a bookmark on page 862. And I think I'm just going to go from the top of page 862, which is giving a summary of chapter 21. Okay? I think Baba Chandravali has the book.
Well, mine marker is chapter 22, but it doesn't matter. One chapter ahead.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Let me look how many long few pages we've got left. Wow. It's getting frightening. We're nearly come to the end. We're going to be lost. Yeah. Okay, chapter 21 is dedicated to studying the factors responsible for the cause and nourishment of Sankalpas. So specific factors that can be the cause of being determined in spiritual life and can nourish that determination as well. So that's spoken of in chapter 21. What makes and what keeps a devotee determined in his ascent up the stages of pure devotional service? So that's a question that's posed. So what makes and what keeps a devotee determined in his ascent up to the stages of pure devotional service? And it's a good question because we find it's not so uncommon for those who take up devotional service to again turn around and go back to their material life, or to lose faith in the process and not be determined to reach to different high levels of bhakti. Yeah? So what keeps a devotee determined? Yeah, it's a bit of a sober reflection. Often when I'm attend a initiation ceremony, sometimes they're big ceremonies like in Hungary and Nuvajtam, there's initiation during Vyas Puja. And there must be 10, 15, 20 people taking initiation. And everyone who's taken initiation, they're really effulgent. You could say it's the prime time in their human form of life. Now they're finally taken initiation and are all very, very sincere and all very, very serious. You know? But practically speaking, if you could, then you fast track 5, 10, 15 years, then you might find only 10 or 15% of them are still practicing. So Zoda was very, very effulgent, very, very certain, very, very excited about getting initiation. Somehow or another along the way, they lost their determination. So it's something to be determined in the first year, second year, third year, but to be determined 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years, that's something else. And to be determined, because 30, 20, 25, 30 years, 15 years, this means things are going to go down, are going to happen in one's life, quote, spiritual life. Yeah? There's going to be difficulties to face. So how to remain determined despite all of that? Yeah. So this is what chapter 21 was all about. So, okay, so amongst the many causes of determination, the foremost quality, the the foremost is the quality devotee association, so sadhu sangha, with which the sadhaka is blessed. All right. Any questions on the way, please feel free to ask. So quality association. So again, we mentioned before that associating with devotees doesn't just mean sitting down and eating pizza with them. That may be in one sense, but association means to reveal one's mind in confidence. As much as we can, get the association of senior devotees. That's what's going to nourish our bhakti lada bija. You know? And the factor most responsible for the nourishment of determinations is the devotional taste, rasa, so param drishtva navatate, that a successful determination brings forth. So you make a determination in bhakti, Krishna will reciprocate. Yeah, I'm going to chant attentive rounds. If you make that sankalpa, that determination, rather than just pick up your beads and, not stop, make a determination. Okay, I'm determined to be attentive. Yeah. In a way that an ordinary person is impelled by the pleasure he derives from a successful endeavor, a devotee is inspired by the pleasure that he derives from devotional service. Specifically, Nam Sankirtan. It is instructive to note the connection between association and the kind of taste of Bhava Bhakti a devotee acquires. Because Narada associated with regulated devotees, he developed the taste for Vaidhi Bhakti. Yeah, Narada is an example of someone attained perfection through Vaidhi. Similarly, a devotee who associates with spontaneous devotees in the mood of Madhurya Ras will himself be attracted to that same savor of perfection. This is in conformity with the principle that bhakti begets bhakti. This also implies that the taste of bhakti begets the same taste of bhakti. Okay. Any questions about that? Where do go on?
In a way, you kind of go towards the devotees that you have the taste for, and they would have the same taste.
Yeah, that's principally that's.
Like, I hear so much about Sankirtan, book distribution, this and that, but because I can't do it, it doesn't go in me. It doesn't get me.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do it, but because I can't do it, then mine's more into this pujari kind of things. What shall I cook? What shall I do? Like that. And
yeah, that's only natural. Yeah, that's natural. But specifically, this is speaking about more advanced stages of devotional practice. Yeah, where one is specifically associating with the guru or is associating with devotees in order to be inspired upon their path of attraction. Say it might be Madhurya Ras, which happens to be as we know, it happens to be the prominent rasa that is described by our Goswamis, Yeah, it's quite a deep subject. Yeah. Anyway, I was reading yesterday the introduction to my Guru Maharaj's book, Vilapakus Manjali. And I guess he won't mind me saying, because he makes it quite clear in the beginning there what exactly he is aspiring for. Yeah. He's aspiring to be a Manjari, a servant of Rati Manjari. And he goes into great detail, expressing his prayer and desire to obtain that position. Yeah. I guess he's my spiritual master, but so I guess I'm more aware. So then when he speaks pastime and Leela and his presentation of the philosophy, it's generally laced with Madhurya Ras. That's where his compass is. That's where his attraction is. So he often, so you can see his books. So if we
Actually,
associate, we might become affected by that divine poison and also develop the same attraction. So
actually, when I was reading that bit, I was thinking, is this him desiring that? Or is he like really in that mood of speaking to Radharani in Rati Manjari's mood? And I
yeah,
was like, for a while I had to think, is that him? Or
no,
is it
that
Manjari
first part, he is placing himself in a position
in that
in a
position?
conversation with Radharani,
Yes, yes,
speaking of his own aspirations.
yeah,
Pretty confidential. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so that was chapter 21. Okay. Chapter 22 lists the various results of determination, among which further eagerness for perfection and the greed for Krishna's lotus feet stand out as foremost. So, the nature of bhakti is to increase the desire for itself. That we read that many times. Bhakti inspires bhakti, which inspires bhakti, which inspires more bhakti, which inspires more bhakti. Bhakti inspires bhakti. When you feel inspired by devotion, then you want to be devotional. You're inspired in a devotional way. Yeah. The nature of bhakti is to increase the desire for itself, and so it is natural that determination leads to further determination. The completion of successful determinations results in more than renewed confidence and faith. So you get confidence and faith. The primary result of successfully climbing the next step on the ladder of devotion, the treasure of a Vaishnava's life, is heightened devotion for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has said that we should become mad for Krishna, in a way that the mother is obsessed with care and concern for her children. Yeah, any comments or questions along the way, please feel free. You can just unmute and. And while all perfected devotees love the form of the Lord whom they serve, the love of the Vrajrasis, and among the Vrajrasis, the love of the gopis, is the most transcendently intense. That's what we just said. Therefore, Gaudiya Vaishnavas aspire to serve Krishna like the gopis. And so their eagerness in sadhana and sadhya follows in the gopis' footsteps. Okay? There's more details to that. There's particular types of gopis. So generally, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there's these two types of gopis. One, they're Tat Bhava Ichamai, yeah, Tat Bhava Ichamai, or Ichatmai and Tat Bhava Ichatmai, right? Two technical words. But one is the gopis who are, or the Raganuga sadhakas, or the gopis themselves who are actually, let's say the gopis themselves, the Ragatmaka gopis, those who are in the spiritual world. They're the ones who they aspiring and they actually engage with Krishna in ras, etc., in intimate exchanges. Yeah, that's called Bhavatmamayi. Yeah, Ichatma, excuse me, that's called Ichatmayi. Then the other one is where these gopis, they don't aspire to personally enjoy with Krishna. They aspire to serve the Pranasakis. specifically Radharani. And they're called Manjaris. And their love is completely, it's the topmost pinnacle of selfless service. Because they, even if Krishna, in his humorous way, sometimes approaches them, then they will refuse. Yeah. Because their whole goal in life is for Radha to meet with Krishna. So they're called Manjaris. Yeah. And that's the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Yeah, a large extent, a large percentage of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Yeah. Right. So Gaudiya Vaishnava, sorry?
I was just thinking yesterday, it was Lokanath Goswami's appearance day or disappearance day yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's Manjari. And I was thinking, reading about them, these great souls are all Manjaris.
Yeah, Norton Das Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kamala Manjari.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, it's quite intriguing because they're all young girls between 14 and 15 years old. They're very powerful. When they come as sadhakas in the material world, they have a pretty powerful effect, but they're just not just, but they're young girls.
Srila Prabhupada didn't reveal his Swarup.
That's an intriguing live conversation amongst devotees. Prabhupada mysteriously, for his own good reasons, didn't emphatically say or express his actual relationship. So some devotees are quite convinced and strong on the point that he's a cowherd boy, based on his prayers when he was coming over to America. I just want to play with Krishna in the fields of Vrindavan. He was in an ecstasy of Sakya Ras in some prayers. But then also the other side, Prabhupada installed Radha Krishna deities. And also he said he would often quote his father, who would pray to all the sadhus, that my son becomes a servant of Radharani. So it's something that will be revealed to someone who's sufficiently advanced. But my Guru Maharaj also says that because Prabhupada kept it confidential, then even if a devotee realizes Prabhupada's relationship with Krishna or Radha, then they will honor Prabhupada's confidentiality and they will not make it public. Yeah. So you've got to place your bet whether he's a gopi or a gopa.
He's a gopa.
So he says he's a gopa. Seems like, yeah.
How do devotees determine where they are, where they stand, on the first step or 10th step of the bhakti? How do they determine?
Well, you have to know what the stages are. You have to read. You have to study. There is symptoms. Yeah, and that's this whole book we've been reading. Also, yeah, it gives what's the symptoms of ruchi, what's the symptoms of a shakti, what's the symptoms of nishta, how much taste we have for the holy name. Yeah.
Okay. What choices we make in our life.
But what you might do as well, you can ask your spiritual master that question. Yeah, my dear Guru Maharaj, please help me ascertain where I am in my spiritual life.
At what stage am I?
Huh?
At what stage am I?
At what stage? And please, can you give me some instructions where I can come to the next stage? And then he might ask you, okay, so tell me about your chanting. And then you tell him about your chanting, how many rounds, what it's like when you're chanting, what you're thinking of, like that, and your sadhana in general, then he can perhaps, he might give you some direction, you know.
Um,
That's the type of question that the Guru Maharaj wants to hear. He doesn't want to hear about family problems or politics in the temple.
yeah.
You know, he's the type of question you want to ask your guru that's going to make him enliven, and he's going to open up and give you lots of mercy. This is the type of questions. Guru,
Okay.
not the yeah. All right. So next time you meet Bhakti Prakash Maharaj,
Yes, for me.
he's coming soon. No, he's here. He's coming.
10, 20 days, maybe 10 or 20 days time.
He's
Yes.
doing retreat.
Yeah, he's doing retreat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. In the next chapter, 23, we have described 5 factors that result in decrease in or complete loss of determination. All right. So these 5 factors were spoken about. One is misconduct. Another one, the obvious one, is bad association, lack of discrimination. And Maharaj gives examples of these. I can't recall the details of it now. We'd have to go back and look. But lack of discrimination, doubtfulness, and faulty sadhana. Misconduct is obvious, I guess. Bad association, yeah. Develop a friendship with those who might be envious of Vaishnavas, or those are very highly critical of Vaishnavas, or those who are developing their material life and desires to the exclusion of spiritual practice, or Mayavadis, bad association, or developing to a closer and intimate relationship with non-devotees, those who don't share the same values as you. Lack of discrimination, lack of discrimination, where you associate with any Vaishnava, every Vaishnava, you do not make any discrimination. Yeah. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you at it, that we do need to make some discrimination. Yeah. Otherwise, get into the wrong association, we may start doubting Prabhupada, etc. There's some Vaishnavas will say that you cannot possibly I was listening to one devotee I used to know many years ago, and he's become quite a prominent preacher. He took initiation from Narayan Maharaj. So I was interested to listen to him. And he was making an issue of this thing where you can't put boundaries on sadhu sangha. You should not put boundaries on sadhu sangha, according to so. And his mood was always like that. And all blessings to the great Vaishnava, but just the difference between, the mood. Yeah, anyone and everyone. And he was describing how he associated this with this Babaji, that this the person, So we have to be a little bit careful. We don't want anyone to erode our faith in our Guru, in our ISKCON, and in Prabhupada, So we do have to be a little bit discriminating. We can say Hari Bol, Hari Krishna, but we might not share long hours of Sanskrit reading and study. Yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah, I know, for devotee. And
Yeah.
he was asked if he didn't mind dressing with this other devotee. And he said that, no, I don't want to be dressing with that devotee because I don't want that vibes. I don't want that air, to contaminate me. But he's good, I was quite surprised that he came out with something like that, which is right in that situation, was the right thing to do. But I
Yeah.
was quite surprised,
Yeah, just like I think I mentioned some time back, another friend of mine who was a brahmachari and still is a brahmachari. He started associating with the Sri Vaishnavas when he went to South India, and he came back a Sri Vaishnava.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
came back as a Sri Vaishnava and completely,
Mhm.
and we had a friendly argument about Vishnu or Krishna. So he says he got into good association. So he also another devotee I know as well, senior devotee. Then he turned from ISKCON and became a follower of again a Sri Vaishnava. And his sister does devotional service in our Pujari department. I'll let you figure that out. But he's now he's following Krishna conscience, so give him due respect. But there's a lack of, so we have to be a little bit discriminative, especially some persons are very, what's the word? Some persons you meet, there's one word which means they have effect on people. What's it called? Charismatic. They're very charismatic. They speak charismatically. They have a certain energy about them that attracts you, you know? So many can become distracted from our Pacific family or our Pacific path. So we need to be a little bit discriminating.
But this devotee you talked about, like, I remember when I
Don't
used
say
to,
any names. Don't say
No, no.
names. But
I remember when I used to come and do PMs on Sundays, and the dad was doing service there at Soho. So
yeah,
going that many years, how they are in Krishna conscious,
yeah. Anyway, he's going back to Godhead, but Pacific place, a different Godhead than what we're heading to.
Yeah.
Okay. And 40 sadhana. All right. Okay, those are the 5 factors that can decrease.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
I was, Prabhu,
yes,
I
please.
was thinking, Prabhu, many devotees, sometimes they like you go to this Sri Vaishnava because sometimes they see ISKCON is too liberal. You know, there are sometimes because they see some devotees are not really very. They put all the devotees in one. They are too liberal. This cannot be like this. So these are they say no. We have to follow certain rules. We have to do this for a reason.
Yeah, that's the reality. And also, we've got a good few devotees in ISKCON who have come from Sri Vaishnav Sampradaya, come from what's that popular Sampradaya? I think a lot of families come from there. What's it called?
Madhav Sampradaya?
Madhav? No, I'm thinking of another one. It's the word for natural devotion. What's it called?
Pushti Marg.
Pushti Marg, yeah. So we've claimed a lot from their party as well. So it happens, the shift, shifts, I know one very, who's it? Kartik Chandra comes from a very, he comes from very strict Pushti Marg, I think, or, very strict, very learned, even when before and he came over to ISKCON, influenced by Radhanath Swami. Yeah. So, yes, what can be done? Okay. Our experience of 50 years as a leader in the society is that substandard spiritual practice and criticism of fellow Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis are the most widespread and debilitating factors in the devotee's spiritual life. Okay. Substandard spiritual practice. These unfortunate habits are like vampires that sap a devotee's determination and ability to enthusiastically engage in indeterminations or sankalpas. Quite graphic, yeah. Vampires suck blood. Suck our determination. By, yeah, again, by substandard spiritual practice and criticism. It is more than lamentable that having become the beneficiary of pure devotion, a devotee can then jeopardize his very rare good fortune and the two things most instrumental to spiritual well-being: good sadhana and respectful service to Vaishnavas. One of the factors responsible for such misconduct in ISKCON is ISKCON's lack of familiarity and connection with Vaishnav culture. Something that we hope the future will bring. Yeah. So yeah, Vaishnav culture, it's a fact. At least from what I was speaking with another devotee about this, there's a natural, real humility that I see in devotees who come from cultured Indian families. You know, say cultured, those in Sattvic families, they have a natural humility and service attitude, which doesn't come so easy for Westerners. They have to learn it, you know. Like there's devotees I know in our community at the moment. Who's it? Prachur, you know, Prachur. He's just naturally coming from a cultured family which imbues humility, you know. So it's but Western devotees is something, it doesn't come naturally. They have to learn it, you know. Have to learn it. So yeah, I was quite amazed one day. This was years ago. I was me and Radhaman, actually, this was, God, 25 years ago, something like that. And we stayed overnight in the, what's that big temple in Delhi? Temple of Understanding, what's it called? The biggest one, the first one. Anyway, big temple. Sorry? Anyway, get to the point. And then in Japa, we was there for Japa. And, you know, we had quite a night. We couldn't sleep. I won't go into reasons why we couldn't sleep, but there's a few rodents were crawling around. Anyway, like going down there. Then we was starting Japa and beginning Japa. Every Brahma, there was, I forget, we think it was a sannyasi. Yeah, I think it was sannyasi. And there was 20, 30 brahmacharis. And before Japa, every brahmachari went and fell down at the feet of this senior devotee and touched his feet and blessed and begged for mercy. That was the beginning of their day. And it wasn't just Vantakalpa Trubhascha, you know, the whole group does Vantakalpa Trubhascha. I mean, they did that, but before chanting that japa, they all went one by one. And he was patting them each on their head, you know, as they came. They put their head at his feet and he was rubbing their heads. That was really sweet to see, really nice to see. So that doesn't come naturally to the Western mindset, you know. So, yeah, so lack of familiarity and connection with Vaishnav culture.
Prabhu, I just want to say something. Why do it doesn't come for Western mentality? All Srila Prabhupada disciples were putting their whole life under the feet of. So maybe now his Western devotees may not have, but Prabhupada disciples they were just under the Srila Prabhupada's feet.
Yeah. If your voice is breaking.
So why do you say, Prabhu? Yeah. Why do you say, Prabhu?
Yeah, your voice is breaking up, but yes, Prabhupada's disciples take shelter for his lotus feet. Yes. That's why we should take shelter there.
So you got, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, because all it's
Yeah, your voice is breaking up, Marvel. We can't hear you on.
Prabhu, can I add some example?
Please, yes.
You know, with Guy and the kids, once we were at Euston Station, we were at the like benches, we're sitting, playing, you know, japa chanting. It was lunchtime, and one guy came to us and he said, Hare Krishna. We said, Hare Krishna, yeah. We thought, you know, maybe he's new and he wants to know more about Krishna consciousness. But actually, it was opposite. We spoke to him, and it appeared that he is a devotee he's Indian. Yeah, he was an Indian body. And he said his mom serving in Pujari. I don't know which, I can't remember her name. And he's Jayapataka Swami disciple. He was in childhood playing with Keshava Swami. But what I want to say, that he said about service, that there is no service for him in temple or somewhere. So what he does? Preaching, yeah. He goes to yoga centers. He goes to anywhere where non-devotees meetings and he gives like classes about Bhagavad Gita. He's preaching in this way, you know.
Yeah.
This is wow. His humility, and we ask him many questions. He seems he's working as accountant or something. I don't know, you know, something like this office job, boring. But his personality was wow. You know, wow.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to say. This is humility, and this is deep. Yeah, he doesn't go to the temple to fight, give me service. He doesn't fight for his place under the sun. He just humble serves the way he can. It's so impressive. It's so impressive. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So he gave so many tips.
Sounds like a Brahmin. He kind of independently serving the Lord in one sense. Yeah. Yeah, so
I was very
you actually felt that. You actually felt that he was genuinely humble. Yeah, we've been speaking about that in Brihat Bhagavatamrita as well. It does develop in a natural way as we advance. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Good. So, chapter 24, okay, is the summary and final chapter of part 5. In essence, it explains that the motivation driving a sadhaka from a lower stage of devotion to a higher is his or her dissatisfaction with his service to Krishna on a lower stage. Okay, I think we all experienced that. A dissatisfaction of service on a lower stage. Where did it go? And the promise of rendering a better quality of service on a higher. Because real bhakti, loving devotion, only begins at bhava. There's a verse that describes that. Then real devotion begins at bhava. A practitioner is relentless in his pursuit of that goal. And since his Krishna consciousness increases with every determination, his eagerness for taking every successive sankalpa also increases. Also, there are many factors involved in a sankalpa. For a sadhaka, they all translate into the quest to love Krishna. Everyone is looking for love, and everyone wants to give love. A question that often arises is whether the desire for spiritual advancement is a selfish motive. Yeah, that often comes up. Because I want to advance, you know, the aham is there. Yeah. If such a desire is driven by an eagerness to be free of material suffering, then the answer would be yes. So one's seeking liberation, yeah. However, if the motive for advancement is to increase Krishna's pleasure, then the answer is no. Yeah. So that's could be like a prayer, like I want to chant good rounds for your pleasure, Krishna, because I know it'll give you pleasure. Not because I'm having a really hard time and I want to stop suffering, but Krishna, may these rounds give you pleasure.
But you do want to perform devotional service better for Krishna, meaning by performing better devotional service, you'll be in a better state to be able to understand
Krishna.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, you understand Krishna.
Like when you want to chant, you know that's the basic and you want to chant better. So then you're going to develop better qualities to serve Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
you
you
are
want to,
not thinking that
yeah.
I want to do better so I look good, and no. So you want to serve better so you behave in a better better ways for Krishna. So everything is connected with why you want to improve in your sadhana, for basically for Krishna and to serve Vaishnavas in a better mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
many years ago, I learned a lot of lessons in the back of a van, traveling Sankirtan van. I was on traveling Sankirtan. I remember I used to chant my rounds, and my mood was just to be in a good headspace, so we could all get on in the van. Just to be, just to be in a good mood, just to be in positive. In one sense, good, but it didn't have much to do with pleasing Krishna. It was about my own self-preservation. I want to chant good rounds for my own material self-preservation. So looking back, that still was a bit, wasn't exactly pure. Still, it was chanting, so I was chanting the holy name. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Of course, becoming a lover of Krishna means a Vaikuntha life, but that is simply a byproduct of the endless drive of a devotee for increased service to his beloved. Okay, so going back to Godhead is a byproduct. The main focus is we want to serve Krishna. Yeah. Okay, so part 6.
I was thinking another thing,
Hmm.
about free from material suffering. Like
Yeah.
you don't chant or perform devotional service so you can be free from material suffering. But if you are performing devotional service better, in a better mood, better state, you would not feel that material suffering so much.
Yeah, so it's quite subtle. It's quite
Yes.
subtle. So Chandraval is bringing up here a mood which is favorable, because if you're in a better state, then you can render better devotional service, to Krishna. So in that sense, the motive is good. Good. Yeah. Okay, part 6. Part 6 is entitled Sankalpa and Attentive Nam Bhajan. Devotional service really means chanting Hare Krishna with all other limbs of bhakti, enabling the development and perfection of Nam Sankirtan. Okay, so principal practice. The religious practice for this age, Nam Bhajan, is a systematic progress through stages of chanting that are accomplished by escalating determinations based on corresponding evolved faith, knowledge, and attachment. As chanting is enriched, it brings the sadhaka in closer and closer proximity to Krishna in many varied and wonderful ways. These chapters are designed to assist the thoughtful sadhaka in cultivating attentiveness, especially in the more advanced stages of Nam Smaran, which scriptures consider to be the very essence of bhakti yoga. Such cultivation by stages is what lies at the very heart of sadhana sankalpa. Okay, especially the stages from dhyan to samadhi. Right, so yeah, I was reading out of interest, I was reading a book on yoga about meditation, and they have, like, the basic yoga stages is, let me get this right, those devotees perhaps yama, niyama, sun, what's after us? Pranayam. Yeah, after
Pranayam.
pranayam is dhyana, and then
Dhyan is dharan.
dara, then dhyana,
Dharana.
and then ultimately samadhi. Yeah. So there's different levels of absorption in meditation Maharaj, it actually comes from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Prabhupada quotes this in a verse in the Nectar of Devotion, in the Nectar of Instruction. These different levels of achievement in one's chanting, these different levels of absorption. How deep can we go? So then that's described in that chapter. So it's correlated with these different developments of absorption in the holy name, samadhi. So samadhi doesn't mean as well, it doesn't mean that one's in samadhi all day. It means that when one's doing one's bhajan, one enters into a samadhi-like state. Yeah. Doesn't mean when they're crossing the road, they're oblivious to the cars. Like even Lord Chaitanya would interact with his devotees during the day, but during the night when he was at what's that place at night time in Puri?
Gambhira?
Yeah, in the Gambhira. He was in a deep, deep state of samadhi. Yeah. So jhana to samadhi. Okay, that was chapter. Okay, chapter 25. Prefaces the study of Nam Bhajan by exposing the primary obstacles to it, inattentiveness. Yeah, we did a little 2 classes on this. Some devotees might have attended that. The neophyte devotee does not have sufficient attachment to Krishna to keep his mind attached to the holy names or to keep it free from distraction. Therefore, he must make extra effort to control his mind, avoid things that further agitate it, and ensure that his sadhana is exacting and free of offense. Yeah. So this is what you're going to learn if you go to a japa workshop, a japa retreat. You're going to learn these things to control your mind. Like devotees went to a nice japa retreat with Mahatma Prabhu, and they all come back with these little cards, little cards of inspiration that for your japa before you start. Yeah, so that's good. It plays a role. But when one's got a taste, then there's no need for any of that. You're self-motivated, But these things are good to bring the mind to a rule, so to speak, and to learn principles. Keep the back straight, Make sure you take rest the night before, good time, keep the back straight, and make some prayer before you start, Sankalpa. Don't think like this and don't think like that. It's like it's all mechanical, you get. But these devotees are starting just chanting at stages of ruchi and bhava. Yeah, they're automatically attracted. So we should make use of these things to get us get us going in the right direction. Okay. Therefore, he must make extra effort to control the mind, avoid things that further agitate it, and ensure that his sadhana is exacting and free of offense. While the list of do's and don'ts in the practice of attentiveness is not insignificant, they all serve the purpose of ekagrata, or one-pointed attention, colloquially known as having a one-track mind. A sincere practitioner must learn and cultivate those things that facilitate attentiveness until that time that his heart has become purified and naturally craves the sound of Krishna's names more than it craves anything else. So that's what I was just describing, yeah. While different do's and don'ts contribute to attentiveness, there is no replacement for repeated effort, which is something that Krishna is emphatic about in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, from wherever the mind wanders due to its unsteady nature, one must bring it back under the control of the self. Yeah. There's something else I was going to say as well. But, yeah. Having defined attentiveness and inattentiveness in a previous chapter, chapter 26 shows how attentiveness develops through the stages of regulated and spontaneous devotion. Attentiveness is integral to learning smarana, remembrance. In the absence of natural attraction for Krishna, a regulated devotee must learn to control his mind and then fix his control mind on the sound of the holy names during Nam Sankirtan. As purification of the heart takes place, either such attentiveness becomes increasingly effortless, or a devotee's taste for Krishna's names awakens, and natural attraction replaces efforts at attentiveness. Okay? Hopefully that sounds attractive. Natural attraction replaces efforts at attentiveness. So in other words, you don't have to make an effort. You're just naturally attracted. There's that prayer on oh my Lord, just as a young boy is attracted to a young girl and a young girl is attracted to a young boy, please let my attraction to you be the same. Very natural, you know. Please let it be like that. So natural attraction replaces efforts at attentiveness. In either case, for both Vaidhi and Raga Bhaktas, attentiveness becomes one of the mind's proactive characteristics. Whether attentiveness is accomplished by practice or taste, it is fully secured when the heart is purified of both the object of distraction and the habits causing distraction. However, it is both practice and taste that enable Nam Sankirtan to exercise its purifying effect upon the heart. All right, that's what I was going to say. So yeah, quantity japa refines quality. The more japa we chant, then the more we're going to refine the quality. Yeah, devotees that came across that the other day. So quantity refines quality. Yeah. Quantity refines quality. So therefore, seen from the perspective of cause and effect, regulative discipline or natural attraction of the mind are the cause of purification, which affects further attentiveness. Yeah. So how attentive can we be? Well, it's unlimited. You know. Oh, that was chapter 26. Now chapter 27. That's what's the time. We just finished on this paragraph here. So chapter 27 is entitled Acceptance and Remembrance. Yeah. This is known as, yeah, its pages describe the all-important stage of Varanadas, where a sadhaka has matured to the stage. The first stage is called acceptance. This stage is called acceptance, excuse me, Varanadas. Forget the first stage. Whereas a sadhaka has matured to a stage where he has a general conception of how he would like to serve as a siddha. So general, so it's not specific, okay? This conception is based on both purity of heart and attachment to a resident of Raj. The cultivation of this purity and attachment is enacted by Nam Sankirtan and is known as Smarandas, the subsequent stage of devotion. Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master have strongly emphasized Nam Sankirtan as the means for attaining all perfections in the stage of Smaran. And for their followers, Nam Sankirtan means personal sadhana enhanced with outreach preaching that makes the most of the resources current technology facilitates. Well, there's a lot in there, right? Is really, yeah. In this way, by both sadhana and preaching, a practitioner is sure to invoke the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for the sadhaka, the Lord's grace is manifest as increased expertise in the kind of nam bhajan that facilitates spiritual advancement. Okay. Shall we pause there? Any final questions or comments? Chat here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All right, a lot to take in. It's a lot to absorb. I mean, it might be good because all devotees here, I think we've all been reading the book together. So you'll find that if you do eventually get round to buying a copy of the book, as you read through it in your own time, it's really these readings that we've had, it's really gonna help you. It's really, you're gonna see it, you're gonna recognize, you're gonna remember the points that were brought up. It's gonna be, aha, oh yeah, this is what we discussed then. Oh yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying it because it's my spiritual master's book, but just because we happen to be studying this book. And I know they're more on the expensive side, but it is worth the investment. I think also at some point it will probably come out in we call it a Kindle version or soft version, so you might be able to get it then. I mean, I find myself, because I do other readings of this as well with other devotees, and I find it so good. I go over something I've been over 3 or 4 times, and still questions come up, but it all becomes a little bit more clearer and clearer. Not completely, I've still got a long way to go, but just the more we go over Sastra, read Bhagavatam again and again and again, read Bhagavad Gita again and again and again. I don't know how many times I've personally read Bhagavad Gita in groups and things like that, but each time it's more nectar, you're going deeper, and it's other things jump out at you which hadn't jumped out before. Really wonderful. Anyway, so Hare Krishna. So thank you, devotees, for joining us. I hope this was good going over these few chapters, and then we'll continue next Monday. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you for
Service ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Hare.